Hello everyone, welcome to another Thursday. That means it's a gear talk time. I am profusely angry. Why? Because my buddy, my good friend I assumed, King Abs, decided last week to let out his video on Dominic Santiago and why his life is so sad. And here I am doing my Sad September series where we're talking about why people's deaths mattered. Little bit of a coincidence, don't you think, that after I come out with Maria, the next week we have a discussion from someone else talking about Dom's slow descent into sadness. Last I checked, Abs, I am the one cornering the market on sadness on Septembers. Remember that, my good chum. No, in all seriousness, Abs beat me to it. He went in, got the video done, amazingly done video, very good job. And here I am a week late in competition. To be fair, I did start the sad series, starting off with Ty, we go into Maria, and then culminates all into Dom at the end. But I mean, I'm okay with that. I get it. You know, I do every other week. Abs is very good at getting his out. I concede. Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine. I hope that didn't come off as too angry at the guy. I love him. Yeah, Thursday, Gear Talk time. And as you can tell by that, we're talking to end off this mini-series for September about Dominic Santiago and why everything just really sucks for Dom. I mean, really. He has probably the saddest as I can think of story in the entire Gears of War just series, the franchise in general, whatever timeline you go by. Whatever part of the timeline, beginning, middle, or end, he probably takes the cake. So let's jump in and talk about the sadness of Dominic Santiago. It's important to say right now also, just like the last two videos, this video will have very triggering subject matter. It will have very strong subject matter we're going to get into. This is another character, I need to say, that has a habit of handling his life and veering the end of it in a certain way in his decision making, if you catch my drift. We talked about Maria last time, so we're gonna talk about Dom best we can, but like I said, even with Abs, like Abs covered Dom, I don't want to be like stinging into what he talked about. I don't want to be making this a copy of anything. Maria, we already talked a lot about Dom in that, so I'm not gonna make this like a 30-minute video on Dom, even though I say that I'm sure it will, but we're gonna kind of go with what we have. I'm sorry if it sounds like there's repetition, but for those who didn't see Maria's, at least you get caught up to speed. So Dominic Santiago, where do we start? For him, we have to go to his beginning. Ty, we just went backwards towards when he left his tribe. Maria was kind of towards when she already had the family with Dom, even though there's further back for both of them. Dom, we do have to go a ways back to when he was a little boy. I believe he was just 4, and this is when he met Marcus. Dom and Carlos, they were brothers, and they met Marcus, and they considered him like a brother, and they grew up together. He knew Maria at this time, next door neighbor, the girl he really enjoyed and loved, love at first sight, so he had a good family dynamic too. Like, everything was perfect. He embodied what we saw the family dynamic would be like, that you would really treasure. He grows up, you know, him and Maria are together, and sooner or later, children also come with that, and he's still young. I think he's like 16, and Maria's pregnant. He handles like a man, goes and talks to Maria's father, all of that. He gets to the point where he decides, I'm going to need to join the military because it's the only way to take care of my family. So he does that, and during this also, like, Marcus and I was about to say Dominic. No, that is who we're talking about. Carlos. They go and they are already soldiers. They're part of the 26th RTI, but Dom becomes a commando. This is kind of where the sadness begins. Like, once he joins the military, sadness begins, but very trickled in. E-Day is when it comes full circle. So while he's handling the Operation Leveler, his job as a commando, they're going behind enemy lines and grabbing the scientists and the plans, while Carlos and Marcus are over and they're like handling the frontline infantry job of it all so that they can like pull the diversion off and make it seem like Dom and them aren't really doing anything. Dom and Hoffman and everyone else that's a commando, BITAC. So all that's going on. Carlos dies during this engagement. It really hits Dom hard because Dom was not there for his brother when he died. Marcus was. And Marcus, we should do a video on that someday, is extremely sad because Marcus just loses it, breaks down horrible. And during all of this, we have the birth of, I believe his daughter is the second child. Dom's daughter is born. Dom has no idea how to handle this night of events in his mind. Because his brother's dead. He just had to go through and kill people. Because he's a soldier. His daughter was born. He has a lot of conflicting feelings at this moment, that good old Dom boy. So, the time of peace finally comes. Everything happens. We're all hunky-dory. E-Day begins and things go very, very bad. So, E-Day, a lot of people died. So, Dom was a family man. He loved his wife. He loved his children. He loved all of them to the highest degree possible. He was the spitting image of what a father should be. And one day, Maria sends off the children to her parents' house so that they can have some time together at home. During this is E-Day. The kids, as we talked about in Maria's video, do not make it through E-Day. In fact, they are some of the first casualties. E-Day happens, a sinkhole opens, and the children are pulled under. They are killed. Now, I believe it is stated, the kids' grandparents, Maria's parents, Dom's in-laws, they are killed. They don't get pulled into the E-hole, but they are killed. Probably shot by the people who come out of them, which you can guess who that would be, the locusts. So Maria goes into this very heavy depression, like we talked about in Maria's video. Dom, coming from someone who has dealt with individuals in the past with very heavy depression, people that need help. For anyone who does need help out there, there is help. There always is. I understood where he came from with this because he pretty much becomes a form of a caretaker. And it's a hard thing to deal with, being a caretaker. A lot of people talk about how hard it is being the individual. It's extremely hard. And I think it is something important to bring awareness to the people who help those individuals, or those who are like at home, or loved ones who are there day to day, those who are there to try and keep everything okay. It's a taxing job. From experience, I understand that. And Dom filled that role for Maria, really. He still had to go be a soldier, but he, as much as he could, went to check on Maria, this big old house with, like, when she would go for her walks or, like, go into the children's room, he had to keep tabs on things. And it had to have been difficult. You could tell in the books he is so stressed from this. He's worn down. And it comes to the point, too, later on where Maria goes for her walk. She doesn't come back. Dom doesn't take it well. He doesn't. Like, this starts a 10-year mission for him, pretty much. And it's not like he was like, oh, Maria, where have you gone? What are you doing? He was genuinely upset, worried. He understood what she was going through. And he decided, I need to go find her. I love her. This is my wife. I'm not just going to let her go off and become a stranded with all the locusts going on. Granted, as we know of Dom, even at this point, I don't believe he ever held grudges or horrible feelings towards Stranded ever. He understood where they came from. He understood, like, the situation they were in, what led to them being stranded. So he was never an enemy. He never saw them with animosity. In fact, he went and asked for their assistance many times. That's where we have Franklin. He went to Franklin. We don't know the situation that he helped Franklin out with, where Franklin owed him. We don't know that. But we know that he was willing to help Franklin. And Franklin saw it as, I owe you. And Dom went, yeah, you owe me. But not in a horrible way. He was pretty much like, look for my wife. And if you were to find her, we'll call it even. If not, consider the one you owe me still there. But please look for my wife if you can. Just keep an ear out, anything. And whenever Dom came up to Franklin, that's normally what it would be is, have you heard from my wife? No? Okay. Thank you. Keep searching. I'll see you later. There's never a time where he went there like, hey, a-hole, have you found anything? No, he was never like that. There were people like that. Random civilians, soldiers that went out, he would ask all of them, looking for his wife. And again, this went for 10 years. And he never stopped doing that. He never, slowed down on it. He did it every time. In the books, they bring up, there are times where he would walk through a town or something, or Jacinto when he would come back, and it would be every person he met on the street holding his picture up saying, have you seen this woman? He would just walk through and just, have you seen her? Have you seen her? They said he essentially did that now and then. And he always carried all the photos. He carried everything in a Ziploc bag that he carried with him 24/7, because that photo of him and his wife was all he had at the end of the day. And it was the only thing. He also had, little tidbit of info, of Carlos left too, because Carlos was the one who took the photo. It comes together with Dom where you understand this man, this person, is such a kind-hearted soul, willing to go out, look, try everything he can, just to find the one person he loves the most. And again, he holds family very close. The only people by the end of E-Day that are left that we're aware of is Marcus and Maria. No one else. I believe they do state his parents have also passed. So he has 2 people left in his life, and we don't really see it that often. It shows up in 2 a little bit. It is slowly just grinding away at his mind. Like, towards the beginning of 2, when they say that they haven't seen Maria anywhere, he starts beating the hell out of a car. He is slowly losing it. And you really start to paint more of a picture when you get to 3, and towards the end of 2, we have a lot of events going on by the end of 2. I understand Maria, when he finds her, that's a big thing. But also understand, at that moment, we are like going to the main capital of the Locusts. We have everything that's going to happen with Jacinto. We have just all of this stuff. And granted, it was a really well-written scene. Everything was fine. We could have delved into that a bit more, I think. One of the very minor things you could say. But, again, he had a lot of things going on as plate at the moment, aside from his personal life. So I understand. Yeah, I guess we can talk about that. We can talk about when he finds Maria. That's one of the strongest scenes you'll ever see in Gears, ladies and gents. That is a pretty powerful one. We talked a lot about it in Maria's video, but he spent 10 years looking for this woman he believed was an angel. And we see that later on with his tattoo. He truly believed this was an angel. A beautiful woman. Nothing is imperfect about her. He finds her. He has spent 10 years. They got a lead from Chaps. They went in, found her. Stu's group, broken up, captured. We found Maria. We did it, Marcus. Marcus, we did it. We did it. You know, it's the scene when he first sees her come out of the torture chamber. You know, the torture pod, it's horrible, the processing. We first see it. And out walks normal Maria. And that's what he sees. He's so far gone in this moment because he found his wife. He doesn't see anything wrong with her. He just holds his wife. It takes Marcus getting his attention away for a moment. Because Marcus just says Dom. Like, Dom takes his attention away. And I think that's when, the gears turn, okay, Marcus notices something's up. What's up? And then he looks at Maria, and we see, the pestilence and disease that's going on. We see the beating she's taken. She's partially blind. The lobotomy's already happened. This is no longer a human being. And this is no longer Maria. But Dom still holds on to, this is Maria. I spent 10 years looking. I found you. And when he pulls that Boltok out, it has to be the hardest moment of his entire life. Let's paint a picture coming up to this moment. He lost his brother. He could have lost Marcus that same day, but he lost his brother. All that's left of Carlos, spoiler for anyone who didn't read the books, is just a bloody chunk pile. And Marcus is holding it. We have his in-laws. They're gone. His parents. They're gone. Everything is just gone. Humanity is gone. All he has is a squad. Marcus is the only one with him, and he's willing to help him find Maria. He was looking for Maria while Marcus was in prison. Remember, Dom did everything he could to try and get Marcus out. During all of that, he's still looking for his wife. All of this going on. A soldier trying to get his best friend and brother out of prison. His wife, he's still looking. That's probably when he met Franklin. All of that's going on. Here's the culmination. A gun to your wife's head. And you are the one that has to make a decision. Quite literally for all of it. We cut away. There is Marcus walking. And we hear a gunshot. Dom comes walking back up. Marcus gives some words of encouragement. He says he's sorry for everything. He gives him an option on how they can get into Nexus. And Dom chooses, I just want all of them to die. I want to kill every one of them. And his option, we go in guns blazing and we just kill. This marks the newest Dom that we now have to deal with. Our soldier, our model soldier, our family man, he is now gone. The Dom we have known has disappeared. He died with Maria that day. And now we get Gears of War 3 Dom. Maybe Gears of War 3 Dom is kind of pushing it for a name. Maybe we'll just call him Bearded Dom, because this is where we get a lot of stuff in the books involving his mental psyche. Like, the games paint it pretty well with how he is post-trauma. He's still suffering a lot at this point, but in the books, a lot of stuff goes on with Dom and his brain. It is insane how much Dom is covered, and it makes sense. Like, you just had all the events of 2. We kind of have to cover and talk about what happened. So, not a lot of people do know. Marcus knows, obviously. Everyone else is kind of informed and told. Now, a lot of them take it a lot of different ways. A lot of them are very in support. Baird is kind of not a dick about this at this point. But also, Dom has now entered short fuse mode. He has entered depression mode. He has entered a lot of modes. The hard S mode of I'm going to decide my end mode, if you know what I mean. And oh my goodness, I don't know how to talk about the books and give them justice. We have like Port Farewell, Vectes, Sovereign, all of this. It's very, 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 very heavily implied, and Dom brings it up. Everyone is constantly watching him. He is constantly having someone with him. All that's going on because, again, very strong subject matter. It is seen that Dom has a lot of tendencies leading to him unaliving himself. He is pretty much on unalive watch. Now, he brings it up. He does. Because depression, for anyone who doesn't know, it's not one steady bottom. No, there's hills here and there. Depression is not, you've gone, and this is really summing it up, I apologize to anyone, you're not going emo mode 24/7. No, it's hills. And Dom has his good days, he has his bad days, good moments, bad moments. He brings it up because at one point I believe it's either Dom or Baird that are following him somewhere. He loses it because he knows that what they're doing. He says, you're all following me thinking I'm just going to go somewhere and just end it. Like, I'm not going to. You can stop. I'm done. Don't. And it is still somewhat implied that even after he says that and he has his outburst, they still do keep eyes on him. They still do. And it's understood because, again, Dom has gone through this traumatic experience. We hear from like his inner mind because some chapters do follow Dom, and it does state with Dom that the only person left is Marcus. There's no one left. All of his family are gone. There's nobody left for Dom. And Dom even states, this is openly stated by him, I believe it's stated in his mind. He states, if Marcus were to die, that's it. I got nothing. Like, I could die in battle. I could die anywhere. It doesn't matter. Does not matter at all. I'm done. I'm finished. Marcus was there for Dom for the longest time of his life, and Dom was there for Marcus. Understand that when Marcus gets in a pickle, Dom comes running Mach 7 to get his ass out of problems or die with him if he has to. It has become that situation for Dom. We even have in the comics, this happens when Baird and them have to go to the birthing farms with Alex Brand to see what the beacon going off is and to save anyone that's there. Marcus gets knocked out and he could easily die at any moment. He's used his bait. Dom goes into straight up panic freak-out mode. His emotions are way too scattered at all. He's freaking out. He's saying, we got to run out and get Marcus. And Baird has to stop him like, no, it's a trap. It's very obvious. We go out there. We all die. They're not going to kill Marcus if they think we're going to come and save Marcus. We learned that Dom would never, even though we play as him as player 2, he's like our quote-unquote second in command. Dom would never take over for leader of Delta or leader of any squad that involved Marcus with him. He would never do it. You know, Cole at least says, like, I don't want leadership. I probably wouldn't make a good leader. We learned in 3 he would, but he doesn't want the leadership. Baird is the only one that can probably lead. We know he can, but he's not allowed officer ranks anymore. So we learn, Dom, you can't. You're probably the last choice here because you are unable to handle your emotions, which after Maria and everything that happens, I can kind of understand that fairly well. Jumping to the Sovereign. So we've kind of talked about how his mindset was in the books. Let's jump into 3 and actually, like, continue this. So when we get to 3, this is roughly 17 AE. This is around 3 years since the event of 2. We've got the books, they're on the Sovereign, all of this stuff. We have him and Sam. Now, we see in the opening cutscene, Sam gives him the tattoo of the new Maria with the angel wings and everything. And little thing before we get in, Sam had a romantic feeling towards Dom always. In 3, in the books, always had this feeling of romance for him, wanted to be with Dom. But Dom chose no. He did not want to pursue that because he feels he doesn't deserve to be loved. He doesn't deserve love from another person. He wasn't able to save Maria, so why does he deserve to be loved by anybody? In a romantic sense. Like, he understands brotherly love and everything, you know, like brothers to the end. He gets that, but where do I see myself loving another if I can't even be there for them? That's how he sees it. And it's extremely sad because Sam is such a nice person. Sam is there, they get along extremely well, but he decides, I can't. You know, it's not because he feels like he's still with Maria. I'm very certain he does. But he sees it as, if I can't save Maria, what would happen if something happened to you? I can't. Like, I would never put someone in that way of, you know, having a tie to me that would feel like a detriment, not to himself, but to them. That's how he sees it. Now, obviously, we know that's not right. Sam can hold her own. As we see in the event of 3, Sam is kick-ass. But he doesn't believe that he deserves any form of love from anybody. So, on to 3, we see that he has kind of taken the idea of growing tomatoes, growing produce, growing a bunch of things, growing a beard. Not the beard for this part, but he sees it as, at least he's taking care, he's nurturing something. He's always been that kind of person. So, he's taking care of the plants, he's watching his radishes, and Sovereign blows up, so he loses that too. All that's gone. But we do learn that Marcus at least finds a way to get his tomatoes. We at least learn he gets some seeds from Dom's plants. He's now with the crew. He's going through fighting Lambit, and the entire time, like, you see it in the trailers, you see it in everything, but the entire time you get this feeling of just a weight on Dom. You feel like the spark that was in him is gone. Nothing is there anymore. It's just a hollow husk. And he's just fighting and fighting and fighting. Finally, it gets to the point where they get themselves all the way. They've gone through everything. They've crashed. Sovereign's exploded. They're on the ground. They've made their way, regrouped with everybody. They've gone over to, I was about to say Halvo Bay. No, that's where Baird's going back to during Gears of War 3. He goes back to Halvo Bay. No, we have we have him go to the fort where Hoffman's located. They go there, and now they're finally going to get emulsion, and one of those places is Maria's hometown. He goes to the graveyard where Maria's family is located. He obviously didn't bring Maria with, but that's the grave area of Maria's family. And he leaves the, kind of like the charm that Maria carried around, he took it after he finished the deed with her, and he places it there so Maria at least has something that's resting with her family. You know, he apologizes. He says, I got to go take care of Marcus. I got to go. And they leave. They're trying. We come across all sorts of Lambent and Locust situations going on where Delta gets pinned down. Like, there's not really a lot of options. Ammo's running out. So we don't even have weapons. We're in the middle of all of this. Things could explode. We could die. And he makes the decision of, well, we don't have a way to fight back. Marcus will die here unless we do something. There's nothing left. I'm done. I got nothing left in the tank. I've pushed this far. I truly believe that seeing Maria's like family grave, seeing where Maria would have been, I do feel like that really just was like, I'm done. I'm finished. Like, you're at peace. I'll join you. I got nothing left. Even though he has Marcus, but he's trying to make sure Marcus is okay. That's the point. Like, he was doing it to save them, but you know also, like, he saw the opportunity. Like, he was like, I can save Marcus and I get to be finished. It's what I want. So, he gets inside the truck. At first, they think he's driving away. He's running. They think they're doing that. And everyone's like, why would Dom do that? What's going on? He turns the truck around after, like, getting a good ways out. And he hits full blast, and while he's driving, his final words, he's just talking to Maria. You never thought it would end like this, huh, Maria? And he gets up there. Marcus knows what he's doing. Everyone has an idea, but Marcus is like the one standing like, Dom, no! And he drives into the emulsion tank, face in the air like this. And it goes boom. So ends the tale of Dominic Santiago. It's sad. You have, I kid you not, you have Mad World playing in the background during all of this. I can't think of a more perfect way Dom could have went out than Mad World playing. I can't think of anything else. Like, there's not literally a single song that could have topped Mad World. Maybe Turning to Dust from the 3 trailer, maybe. But no, that was the perfect way to send him off. It's sad, too, because Dom, we followed him the entire time. He was with us. Like, he was the biggest impactful death I think the story had, period. And there's not really much else to say after that. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at the death of Dominic Santiago, but, I mean, what else do we have after that? Like, Marcus goes into a frenzy. Marcus is beyond pissed at the world at that point. Like, with Griffin even, he's like, I just lost my brother. He's like, you and this emulsion and everything else can go to hell. Loved it. You know, he's got that. You've got, I don't know, like, it was just a burden that everyone carried. Sam carried it. You know, Baird and Cole took it extremely bad. Like, you have Baird and Cole, they hear it, and they're just like, oh, God. Oh, someone's going to pay. Someone's going to pay. And it's hard, because Delta, like, at this point in the story, like, they are a family. Like, you have the main 4. They're, like, all brothers at this point. Like, even with JD when he's born, you know, he calls it, like, Uncle Baird and Uncle Cole. Like, Marcus really saw them all as brothers. Everyone did. Dom's gone, and all we have left is JD carrying the D for Dominic. But he's with Maria now. That's what matters. I don't know how to end this, really. Like, that's the end of Sad September, the end of Dominic Santiago. It all led to this. I guess background info. None. He died. I'm sorry. I guess thank you guys for watching. I mean, Sad September's done. We're going to get to the holiday season for things. The Gear Talk slowed down a bit now. But we're going to get to some good stuff coming up in 2023 when it gets here. We'll have a few more. We're not done yet. So thank you guys for watching. Thank everyone for making this possible. And thank the patrons for making this possible. This still went on for 30 minutes, sadly. It's Dom. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next Gear Talk every Thursday. Except for holidays. Remember that. Or, actually no. Holidays are fine. It's when I have 12 days of fantasy and 13 days of Halloween. I get my days mixed up. Whatevs. Later.